Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Infamous Stringdusters sound engineer Drew Becker on Lily P4D.
So, one of the things that really caught my attention recently, I've been seeing you sharing a little bit about Lily Pad, and this is something that you've designed. Could you tell us a little bit about it, what it does, and kind of what it's meant to be used for?
Sure. Yeah, Lily Pad is it was a passion project at first, a time filler during the early stages of COVID. But the gist is that I needed to solve a problem. The String Dusters sing five vocalists. At any point, any one of them can be a lead vocalist. So there's no leaning heavier on one guy and then pulling the others back, knowing that they're only ever going to be backup singers. And so we had a consistent issue where this extra microphone bleed in the space was causing a washiness in the mix. And there's another tool out there that fixes this problem, but we just dealt with a lot of failures on this product. It has its flaws, it has its limitations, especially as concert lighting gets more intense. These the sun, things spill noise into that environment where this tool works, and so LilyPad, also known as Lily P4D, got one here. It's a pad for ducking. So instead of being an infrared light and a sensor, it uses a pressure activated pad. This is something the Grateful Dead did in the 70s. They took those grocery store mats. When you'd walk into grocery stores, it'd open the doors for you. It's just a electronic switch. And they would wire that to either an oscillator, noise generating device, and then run that into the side chain of a gate. So basically audio tools that help reduce the volume when you're not on it. And so I kind of worked off of that concept, but knew I needed to create something that was going to be streamlined inline on the microphone and would give users the control to create dynamics by using their head. They would know when they're standing on this device, which is going to turn their mic at full volume. And when they walk away from the microphone, it brings it down by a heavy, medium, or light amount. So it's a cool tool for both artists and for engineers, really.
Yeah. So, how do you manufacture that? Like, what's that like?
Yeah. So it started out like printing a photo at like, at CVS or something. Like, you go online, you take your digital file of a circuit board to a store, and in 7 days, the circuit board is sitting on your doorstep. And that company is called JLC. They're out of China, but they do these quick turn manufacturing where lets hobbyists and professionals design quickly and order really efficiently. So I started working with them in 2020, and through a lot of trial and error, got to a place where that board is pretty well set. No more changes are needed to be made. And so that company's pumping out like 100 of those a month. And then the enclosure, I just started working with a company in Oregon, a friend, Mark Bergen, who's a avid taper and videographer in the Northwest. He kind of like, tuned me. He's been making these gobos and cool metal pieces for artists and stuff and highlighting that. I was like, do you think you guys could make an enclosure? And through about a 2-month process with them, we came up with this newest enclosure, which is just professionally done on all edges. Everything you're not going to nick yourself or cut yourself on these edges, versus my original enclosure, which took me an hour and a half to manufacture one of them. And this takes me 4 minutes to assemble now. So between the two of those, and then I took the pressure mat. The pressure sensitive mat is actually originates in a healthcare industry. So they use pressure activated pads for bed alarm systems, for operating room tables. And so I knew that utilizing something that's appropriate for medical devices is probably going to keep it reliable for audio devices. And I'm happy to say in 2 years, 10 instances that I've personally put my hands on, we've had no failures on these. So the whole point of why I designed the thing was because the failures from the other product, the best way to sell something is to point out the pain points of the other options. So
No doubt.
Do we not want to say their name?
yeah, probably not. But anybody in the industry who's using any sort of gate tool on a microphone knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right on. And I would imagine that something like what you've designed, of course, you're in the bluegrass, jamgrass space, primarily for live work, but to me, this feels like something that could be used across a ton of different genres and in different types of scenarios. Are you finding interest for this coming from like outside of the jam band scene?
Yeah, so the my marketing strategy going into this business is to basically follow the trail. It's almost like Burger King, Chase, and McDonald's. Like, I'm following the trail wherever there is a particular gate tool on site. That's where I am too. So yeah, I've been really fortunate. I've got a great network in bluegrass, but I also have a great network that expands outside of bluegrass. And so I reached out throughout this summer, has been call all my friends, call all my engineer coworkers and peers, and just put it out there and see who would be interested. And through that, I've been fortunate to pull on artists like Illenium, who's a large EDM artist, Mo, more specifically in the jam band world outside of bluegrass. We've got Billy Strings is using it. His team is using a number of units. He personally isn't using it on his vocals, but Billy Failing and Jared Walker are both using it. Buddy Guy purchased one a couple weeks ago, which for an older
Final tour.
Yeah, for an older cat, 87 I think right now, and using some new technology. I was super proud of his team for pulling that on board. And then we just, Mary Chapin Carpenter's engineer called me last week and was like, you did it. You like the Grateful Dead did it in the 70s this way. This other guy did it in the 80s with this other tool. And now you're replacing that tool. And he was so excited, just seeing the progress for the industry. That's the name of the game. It's like, we want to make music better. Not so much an arms race against each other, but
Yeah, I definitely can appreciate that. So I guess just a couple more like thoughts on that. So it sounds like, the interest is there and all. Like, do you envision distribution for that? Like, or I don't know, what are your ultimate plans for it?
Yeah. So I get asked that question a bunch. My business coach is my college roommate. Is actually he works with a system called EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, and through that program, I've learned a lot of how to assess what's the big picture thing. To achieve this week's goals, I really need to know what next month's goals are like, and to achieve next month, and you go all the way to the big picture. What's my 10-year goal, and how do I work back? What do I have to do in 3 years to get to the 10 years, and so on and so forth. You see that metaphor with the rocks and the stones and the sand and all that. It's kind of the same thing.
The universe. You're
universe.
the planet, and then the first ring is where you want to be in 5 months. And
yeah. And if you start dreaming the big picture, so what is the big picture for me? Really, I just want to see Lily Pad as far through its process as I possibly can. And if one day I get some offer from a larger company that I think can carry that even larger, then that would be certainly something I'd be excited and open to.
But so you said you upload the circuit board. Are they all? Is it something that you can buy out of the box, or it has to be custom made?
Oh no, it's custom made. So it's like I was thinking of it as an analogy, like you have your like photo you want to have printed at the store or something. I mean, you own the photo, you designed the photo, you did all that, and they're just kind of producing it for you. So in the same way, it's like circuit board is just like a 4-layer photo, and you're saying the top layer looks like this, the middle inside layers that communicate have pathways look like this, and they connect through holes in it. And that part's all simple. It's like when you're choosing the components and reading data sheets and deciding should this LED be brighter or less bright to affect the current, and and how does this other device that's very important has to have the right current to trigger it on and off. And so it was fun. It was like going back to school, and YouTube is a wealth of knowledge, and in 4 days I have a circuit board that I designed and wanted to get printed up. So yeah, it's something I've fully custom. And then I hired an electrical engineer after I had gotten as far as I could possibly go. A great friend in the jam scene, Bill Stubbe, joined the team and is helping out. So he helped really optimize the circuit so that it would last long term. But I gotta say, for my totally novice self, the first board I ever made is still on tour. Actually, I pulled it off of the board for Red Rocks and put on the brand new one so that I'd have some good solid press photos. But the new board, the first board still works. So trucking along.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.